What's up, YouTube? Southern County Geek coming to you with another unboxing video. After such a big video, a huge video. It was absolutely huge. It was amazing. Nothing like it. Video that we did yesterday, even though it ended on kind of a sad note because the big, huge that we had and we opened up the slabs ended up having cracks in them. As a way of an update or side note, I have contacted the seller on that, and we are trying to make some kind of adjustment or amends to make everybody happy. He was sad about it. I told him, I said, I can assure you that I'm just as sad about it or disappointed about it. So there we go. If you are questioning what guy got yesterday that was so huge. What's going on, Mark Spector? Thanks for joining me, man. If you're wondering what I got that was so huge yesterday, be sure to check out the video, or if you just hang around just a while, I might accidentally let it slip. But got some more boxes in today and decided to go live with an unboxing video. William Smallwood, good afternoon. How are you? Hopefully everybody is doing well this Friday afternoon. And if you're in non-quarantine, then hopefully your weekend is got a good weekend plan. I remember used to Escargo T80. Thanks for joining. Lucas Wayne as well. I remember used to that the old thing was, hey, I ain't got much planned this weekend. Just gonna kind of hang around the house. Nowadays, nobody says that, right? Because we hang around the house too much as it is. I say I haven't really done that to a large degree because I'm in the required deal, so non-expendable, whatever they call it, services. So I have to continue to work, which I'm thankful I have a job. So got this from Exile State. He is a seller on Strictly Comics' auction website, and I was actually I got this Sunday and already got it today, which he lives in the state next to me, so it's not like it's that far for it to go. But everything looks good thus far. But I was actually on the road looking at YouTube. Hopefully Big Brother's not watching this video. But I was on the road looking at YouTube, and when I bid on this and won this auction. And so, my goodness. Man, what was I thinking with this package? All right. Here we go. Yeah, it's just a small lot of comics. Threw it up there. He threw it up there, and won a lot of people bidding on it. I've already got one of these comics here, but I said, hey, what the hey? The other ones were the ones I was really going for, but I don't mind putting an extra one in the old PC, if you know what I mean. And so the first one we got right here is a classic. No collection would be complete without this particular book, and that is Turok #1. But if you notice, there's something different about this particular Turok because it is the gold version of Turok. Gold, I said gold. And for those of you who know my videos, typically I'm going to have some kind of Valiant or book come in at some point or another. I had already picked this up. I guess it shows that good things go to those who wait, but I already picked this book up, so I already have a copy of it. Got this one cheaper if I just waited, but hey, what the heck. So glad I picked that one up. This was one of the major books that I wanted to get, was Star Wars Boba Fett Wizard Half Edition. So Wizard used to be the thing, right? Everybody loved looking at Wizard and watched Wizard push all the prices up, at least in everybody's mind. Back for the days of the internet, this was how people got their stuff on a monthly basis, the top 10. The only valuable Turok, that's right. I mean, the other ones are a dime a dozen, The other ones you can get for little to nothing. They give you, 2 for $1 or something. And so if you already put that in, it took a while for StreamYard to update. But yeah, so got that and got the COA on the back. So dig some of these Wizard halves. Pretty cool. Can't go wrong with Boba Fett. And also a little nostalgia factor. Got a couple spine ticks. It is a newsstand. And he said it on the video, so it wasn't like he But yeah, so Masters of the Universe. I have the power. Yeah, that's right. He-Man himself and all his masculinity. In today's world, He-Man would have to bow to She-Ra or Teela or one of those people because that's too much masculinity in one guy right there. He would have to be some dumb oaf. He certainly couldn't beat Skeletor without the help of a woman. But hey, what do I know? But back then it was okay. It was just one of those things. It was called entertainment. It wasn't, people didn't take offense to everything as bad as what they do today. And so He-Man flexing his muscles right there, throwing up that sword, got Battle Cat backing him up right there. And let's see, it was a MODOK. And of course, that's Skeletor. This is Star Comics, which was owned by Marvel. And that's that version of it. So, hey, Meta, are you having the midnight market tonight? Put it in the chat. So this next box is from Z Collects. Z's been out pushing channels, trying to get them over the hump, and he sent me a message to say that I was going to be on the next push show. So I appreciate Z for that, and appreciate that from Z because I am pushing to get over the 400 mark. I do have a giveaway to do when I hit that mark. So Z always puts the ability that if you post the deal on Instagram, on Z's channel, okay, good, that he will give you a $5 credit. So in these particular books, I got that same $5 credit. So I was trying to remember what I bought from him. That's what I bought that from. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about them. Yep. Okay, cool. So got Phantom Stranger of the New 52 number 0. Didn't know anything about this book, but I think I picked it up for $1 and it looked pretty cool. So I said, just snag that and check that out. Never heard of the Phantom Stranger. Ooh. All right, the Book of Death of Bloodshot. Again, you got to have some valiant goodness when you come to my channel, and pretty cool there. The Book of Death was a tie-in for all the series of Valiant at that point. This is Iron Jaw. This is Atlas Comics, 25-cent goodness right here. And didn't know anything about it, but didn't own any Atlas Comics, and so now I do. The Hands of the Dragon. Gotta love some kung fu action. Again, Atlas Comics. So plan to check that out, see what that's about. Got this on the cheap, but very cool story. If you haven't read it, be sure to check it out. Don't know where you've been, but God Country, number 6. Awesome story by Donny Cates. Personally, think it's his best work. I'm not a absolute huge fan, like a fanboy of Donny Cates, but I do enjoy most of his work. Barbarian Kung Fu. Woo, 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 woo. I opened up your package from you yesterday, and so be sure to check that video out if you haven't already. Yeah, Meta, probably so. Atlas are probably sleepers because I understand that somebody actually bought the rights to those books, and so maybe at one point we'll see some movies with that. So I picked this up from Z, and this was pretty cool. I'm a Jim Lee fan, not a Superman fan, but hey, where can you go wrong right here? Got some Jim Lee goodness right there. And at one point or another, I'm going to get the Batman second print that is the opposite of that, where Batman's looking this way, and I'll get them to where they're looking at each other. Not that they're having some kind of man crush or anything like that, but hey, they're broskies. They're broskies. And he threw this in. I'll probably put this in an auction or some kind. So this is a Superman special, 1983. Superman fighting somebody, whoever that is. All right, so Savage Avengers number 3. Some David Finch goodness right there. It's like Venom or something coming off of him. So I don't know if that's a Venom deal. And then Savage Avengers number 2, more David Finch goodness. Got Wolverine and Conan fixed to have words. These is fighting words, bub. Yeah, they have been optioned. Lost in Comics, thanks for joining. The toe has arrived. Well, Corona Toe, thank you for joining. I'm glad your toe and every other, well, most every other part of you has joined us. And we got bros in different area codes. That's right. That's right. First symbiote sword. Were you just making that up, or is that a real thing? And so Lost in Comics has joined us. Thanks for joining us. Perry's Corona Toe has arrived, so he's lurking in here. So there you go, there you go, there you go. Yeah, and these days, about everything is optioned. So whenever I get these boxes and I start seeing these little tags in the thing, I just kind of cringe. Because after I got the package that I got yesterday, no Savage Avengers 3. I think I have Savage Avengers 3. I actually picked some up at the LCS. They were half off. Picked up some at the LCS, I think through Current. And I think one was the only one I was lacking, Meta. Or I know I got some books with you. Maybe you actually had one. But anyhow. So after I got the big package in yesterday, all excited, came from Canada. And, oh, did I show one? Oh, okay. Anyhow, after it came from Canada and all that kind of stuff, and I'm getting kind of nervous. Now, this person went through the packaged another box inside of it, so looks pretty good there. Came all the way from Canada, only to find that all three of the Clapp slabs, rather. Oh, okay. So that is a thing. I thought you just made it up. Barbarian said it might have a couple of copies of Savage Avengers. I think I'd asked Z if he had a copy. He said, well, I'll look, and if I have one, I'll throw it in. It wasn't in there, so I guess he didn't. So cool. But yeah, so got the comics, and I thought one had gotten cracked. But then I noticed that all three were cracked, all on the same side. So you look at the box, you can tell where it happened at. And just so aggravating. I kind of get the vibe that the guy didn't buy any insurance, which is really foolish for him. I told him, I said, look, CGC, right or wrong or indifferent, will charge you by the value of a book in order to reslab this thing. And so based on the value of those particular books, for those who don't know, not to spoil anything for you, but for those who don't, it was Hulk 180, 181, and 182. And so based on the value of those books right there, that it's going to be pretty expensive to slab them. So at the very least, I need some refund in order to reslab them. Now, whether I reslab them or not, it's really irrelevant. But if I choose to, I'll have the money from a refund to do so. And one of them, the Hulk 181, actually looks like it could be pressed and maybe grade bumped a little bit. So, you know, I might actually send that one, but I don't think the other ones would do any good to do anything. I might just keep them as they are. So I got these particular slabs from a guy off of Instagram. Been buying a lot off of IG lately. And it's probably just the cycle of things, but a lot of people have been putting some stuff up on IG. I guess they're trying to avoid those eBay costs, and that's certainly understandable. And this guy threw 3 books up, 2 of which I was interested in. $10 a night. There you go. Weapon X, how are you, my friend? Hopefully everything is going well. Starting a Watchmen. Yes, Watchmen. Rorschach. Every time I say Rorschach, I think about the B-52s. Rorschach, that's where it's at. No, it's Love Shack at that. Anyhow, so he had these 2 books I was interested in. We went back and forth on the price. So finally, we got an agreeable amount, and that's where we went with it. So both of these books I already have. One of them in the same grade, the other one in a lower grade. I didn't think that to recalculate changed much. Just the insurance would cost a bit more. Well, when I say that you might get a grade bump, the other one looks like it's got pressable defects, Barbarian. So that's what I meant. If I was going to unslab it, it's already raw, I can then get it pressed at the same time and get it recapsulated. That's what I meant by that. Both of these are newsstands. I only had the direct editions. These are some pretty big books if you are an X-collector. And so I decided to pick these up. Not so much on the cheap, not so much on the expensive side either. I think it was a fair enough price for both parties to be happy with it. So this is Avengers Annual number 10, 9.2 newsstand. And as most everybody watching knows, this is the first appearance of Rogue. This is a comic I've got raw. I've actually got it sent off with Geek Aficionado to press. My direct edition that I actually bought from Z a while back. And got it there. And I thought about getting it signed because I like signed comics. But this issue really just doesn't leave you any good place to get a comic signed. And I've heard other people say it before, so I can't take credit for it, but this is probably the worst cover for a first appearance of a major character ever. Yeah, newsstand. And yeah, so see, now I got Gray Man. I got that song stuck in your head now, man. Yeah, Love Shack, baby. Yeah, that's generally what happens. Somebody says something and these songs start going off in my head. Last night I was, a while back I was putting on there Back in Black for Deadpool. And of course, AC/DC starts going off in my head. That's how my weird mind works. And then the next one, thought it was very fitting that this next book would be what it is. But this is the second appearance of Gambit. Yes, some people say, I don't want to hear that of XMen annual stuff. But technically, this is the second appearance of Gambit. But this is the one that most people, let's see what it says. List up here, it says first appearance in continuity. As much continuity as actually occurs in comics. What's up, AsianFont? Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, Agu, these things, it started getting rumored that Rogue was going to be in the Captain Marvel 2 movie. Man, that thing has been spiking up for sure. I actually plan on getting the ROMs where Rogue actually has her second and third appearance. So Comics Miss Explained says, yeah, Love Shack stuck in my own head now. Man, that's messed up. Why would you do that to me? Tin roof, rusted. You know, that's what... There you go. The acid drinker cover is the best. Can't go wrong with first appearance on a cover. There's you another deal. Besides continuity, it is on the cover. And so this is a newsstand, and I already had a direct edition that's not slabbed. I planned on going to a couple of cons if Corona will get away. And plan on going to a couple of cons where Chris Claremont, the man, I don't want to send it to CGC to get it signed. I'd rather get it signed in person. I have met him before, but I've got a few books that I would like to get him to sign. And my raw direct edition would probably be one of those books. And I mean, this is a really clean copy. I actually looked at the grader's notes on CBCS's website before I bought this book. And the way it explained it was that basically there's hardly nothing at all wrong with this book, right? There's a couple of spine ticks on the back that you can see, but I don't know why those wouldn't be pressable, and maybe they are. It's kind of a little waviness up there at the top, so Mike could get a grade bump. Boy, that would be awesome, get a 9.8. It's amazing how these things go to... That's what I say too. First on cover. That's right. That's right. Hey, you know, you take all the argument out of it because you can't really argue that then, right? It is his first cover appearance. Magic Lasso says, hello all. Thanks for dropping in, Magic Lasso. Yeah, and Bub, we are now privileged that Bub's Comics has joined us. He is in the 1000 Club. Asian Funk, you're probably fast on your way, my friend. You've been blowing up the sub count and maybe one day we'll reach Perry status, right? But anyhow, so that would be awesome to get a 9.8 of this. It's in my PC, so I guess if I was going like every other seller and say, well, you probably can get a grade bump. And Magic Lasso says, did I miss your update on the slab crack from last night? Yes, Magic Lasso, you did. But, as a note, I have been in contact with the seller. We went back and forth. I showed him some pictures. And basically he said, hey, I hate it for you. And I said, well, not as bad as I hate it because I'm the one that paid it the money, and was very disappointed when it got here. So looking for some kind of resolution or restitution with some extra, some of my money back my way. Geek Aficionado, thanks for joining me, man. Appreciate that. Bubs is giving away his Phantom Ladies. Oh, wow. That's great to know. Hey, you heard it here first, right? Really generous offer of him. He's either going to give that away or he's going to give the Nabisco variant of Wolverine away. You hear things on the internet, and everything you hear on the internet is true, right? AsianFont says 9.4 is already in high-end grade. Yeah, and then I know there'd be a big value bump if it did work out right, but what happens if it's a 9.2? And it's in my PC, and it's not like I'm trying to resell it. Did you buy the from eBay or a private seller? Well, fortunately, because most of the time you buy it from IG or off of YouTube, they always want you to do friends and family, and understandably so. I know why it is. Same way when I sell stuff on there. But fortunately for me, in this big of a purchase, I actually purchased it from eBay, and so PayPal was normal, and so I do have my protections there. Bub says, LOL, y'all got jokes for days. What is a joke? Joke. So thought Bubs was doing each subscriber gets a pick book. Bub talks about he's only got so much room to house his comics. Wouldn't that be great that he gives away 1,000 comics? I mean, that would be a great give back to the community. Probably shoot his subscriber count even up further, and he would make all that money back that he lost and give away comics on all those YouTube ad revenues, right? Said nobody ever. A 9.4 versus 9.5 is a $500 difference. Yeah, it is a great point, and sometimes I'm that guy that goes, I just like to say I have a 9.8 newsstand of Gambit. I might get somebody that's a lot better grader than me to take a look at it and tell me what they think based on the grader's notes from CBCS. But you probably can't see it because it's on this white background, and then the waviness is up here at the top. So sometimes people will get stuff, not pressed, thinking, well, it's good enough. And 9.4 is a good edition of that comic. So, that's good. eBay is always on the side of the buyer. They will force the seller to give a refund. And, I had a guy, I hesitated to do it because it's a lot of money. And I trying to put myself in that guy's shoes, because based on the box condition and looking at the wrapping, the guy tried to do his part, and I know it's no fault of his own. I don't think it was already cracked the way it all panned out. So, I don't think he did anything nefarious. But I had a eBay seller one time dispute something over $3. It was a signed comic. And there was a COA. I know that COA for a fact was in there because it was nowhere in my collection. I know that COA was in there. He disputed it because the guy bought multiple books from me. eBay or PayPal held up the entire amount of the funds. I said, screw it. Here's your $3 back. So they would actually release it. I hated to do it to him, but I mean, that was the only way I was going to get it. He was a little slow on the follow-up. I can look at it for you. Send me some high resolutions of the front. Okay. I'll do that, Geek, and I'll send you the code so you can look at the notes, and then I'll show you the pictures of the book. So that is the haul, man. But after yesterday, that is certainly enough. So there is that. we did get a lot of those. I am selling this, by the way, if anybody knows anybody that wants a decent grade of Amazing Spider-Man at a decent price, I am selling that. I had it up here because I was sending pictures to a guy. But for those of you who did not witness the video, this was the one of the comics, the big comics that came in yesterday, and you can see the crack. And they all occurred on that corner down there. And so that corner, it hit and it just split it just right. Every single one of these slabs. Some are worse than others. Just the way the crack spread, it's actually more noticeable on some of them than it is on others. Like this one's really not that bad. You really can't tell it as bad. But and then of course this nice book right here, and got the crack right there. So, alas, these are big books. You know, I am currently accepting first appearances of Carnage as A-OKs. Well, I'm glad to know. Hey, community, if anybody feels the burden to send Perry an A-OK of the first Carnage, of course, is that technically the first appearance of Carnage? First full appearance it is. So Magic Lasso says, you are very tame today compared to last night. Were you consuming sugar late night? Yeah, you know, it's kind of wired. Been gone all week, come home to 11 boxes of comics. And so I was just anxious to open them, man. I was pumped. I was primed. And I was even saving the best for last by opening these up last. And so, I mean, it was just kind of building because a lot of the sellers were throwing in extra freebies. I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is cool. How can it get any better? And then the total letdown when I found out that these puppies were cracked. It was like, So it did kind of die down after that. So maybe that's why I am still a little tamer today. Mark Spector says, Perry, I'll give you my first Carnage. It's not necessarily the first Carnage. So there you go. There you go. So you can find some Carnages in dollar bins. Barbarian, I think once is enough for me, Perry. I've already A-OK'd one last year. You know, Perry, do you collect anything but Lobo? I mean, hey, look, Perry likes Lobo, folks. Him and the other two people that like that character, there's not a big run on it, so you could probably get most of that stuff, aside from his first appearance, for about 50 cents a book. First appearance of Lobo, $10. Perry's comfortable with it, right? I mean, and then Perry says he likes Lobo, but he got a shredded version of Lobo. I mean, who shreds their comics, you know? It's just one of those things. So Weapon X says that he hid a copy of ASM 361 in the Gulag. See if you can find it. Ooh, the Gulag. Oh, the Gulag. Oh, okay. So Mark Spector was one of those other two people that I mentioned. Just joking, obviously. Went to the LCS to get a Lobo and the Duck. Yeah, that's came in and got it like 10 minutes. Beat him down in the parking lot. I mean, come on. There's ways you can take care of that, Perry. How many Fooms do you have now? Any more besides last night? I want the one with Vision on the cover. No, those are the only two that I have last night. There are a couple more that I am interested in collecting Magic Lasso, but those are the only ones that I have from last night. So K. Titus joining us from Japan, the land of the rising sun. Appreciate yes, what he said. Okay. And yeah, so thank you for joining everybody. And again, let me show these right here. Maybe some people did not get a chance to look at this beauty right here. This came from Nemesis Prime. Autobots transform. And so this came from him on the cheap. Awesome, awesome cover by Mark Brooks. And did anybody, now that I asked, did anybody notice the flowers blooming in the background? Does anybody know what color eyes she has? So, probably didn't. Okay. Looking for Fin Fang Foom. Yeah, that's one of those odd ones. But yeah, so Bub, I don't know if you saw the video last night, but this is my copy that I was able to pick up. This book is surprisingly did not end up in the same shape as the Wolverines. It came from Dallas, Texas. Came all the way from Dallas, Texas to Jackson, Mississippi, so only about an hour away from me. And then it went from Jackson, Mississippi to Houston, Texas, and back to Jackson before it came to me. Now, why in the world? Who knows? Some guy was throwing it on the deal. But really high grade. It's been marked in. So one day mine will be cool like Bub's, and I'll actually get Steranko to sign it. Yeah, so let's say Mark, it looks like there's a couple of people that might have some. And then also Foom number 10, the technical first appearance of the new X-Men. So this is a little bit more than the other Foom, which was, some people believe, the first appearance of Wolverine technically. This is actually an articles in there talking about the new team and the new direction for the X-Men. And so this was a little closer, I guess, to a first true appearance than others. There were some other comics, other issues of this that were in a better grade than this one is. However, Geek says it walked in my LCS and walked out with me. There you go. Need Foom 10. Foom 10, Bub, is that the one that has Stan Lee on the front of it? And because that one is definitely, I think, the more expensive of them all. But this is the interesting thing, because some people like date stamps. I don't know if anybody in here likes date stamps. I personally do. Kind of gives you a little history of it. So Perry says, I'm looking for English and Spanish one. Yeah, like no one cares for it. Well, hey, look, when no one else cares for it, Perry, and you do, that means you can get a good deal on it. That's kind of like my X-Men 101. I've got a British version and I got a French version of the same comic. So not everybody cares for that, but you're the one that has to worry with it, right? Mark Spector says, love date stamps, and as well do I. It does tell kind of a story. Sometimes the color, that I forget what they call it, but that shows like what region of the United States the book was sold on, or if you get a Mark Jewelers, you know that this only went in certain places. So just kind of an interesting history of the book, which is part of the fun of the hobby for me. Because hey, where I picked this up, the story behind it, when I get my X-Men 1 and 4 back from being graded, I'm going to do a collection of all the Uncanny X-Men and all volumes 1 through 5, as well as all of the annuals and the variants in between. I'm going to be doing multiple shows on that. And most of the deal is going to be about the story behind how I got the books. At least I find it interesting. Hopefully some other people will, and check that out. But this was the interesting thing to me. It doesn't have a date stamp, but it has something very close to it, because check this out. This is from 1975, and yet it still has the postal address on here, and it's in Hawaii. And this person had obviously moved, and they had a return label address or address forwarding. And then the other thing is that look who it's addressed to, M. Richardson. And so my oldest son's name is Michael Richardson. I just thought that was all neat. And so it is neat in the eye of the collector. It is neat indeed. And so that was me. But yeah, it presents well. It's a little tears or something over here on the side. But like I said, there was a couple of other slightly better ones. There was actually one even a little bit cheaper, but I liked this one the most due to the fact it had that right there. So, so there you go. And those are some of the ones that I showed last night, having picked up and coming in. So these things multiply like rabbits. These comics do, by the way, if you hadn't already figured it out. But thanks everybody for joining me today while doing a little bit of unboxing. We're about at the 35-minute mark. Do appreciate everybody. Let's see. Bub says, yep, hard to get those without the postal address. No grade difference. Treated like a date stamp. Cool. Yeah, and it had the forwarding address. It was in Hawaii, so I mean, it was even further out. and somehow it found its way to the mainland and to my home. So pretty cool. But if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and the notification bell so that when we drop videos like this, you'll be one of the first people to know. Also, if you have not entered my 400 subscriber giveaway, be sure to check out the 400 subscriber giveaway video on my channel and do what you need to do in order to be entered in to win that. When I hit the 400 subscriber mark, I will be giving away those comics that are shown in that video. So be sure to check that out. It's very simple to enter to win. You have to be 18 years or older. You do not necessarily have to be in the continental United States. And you just have to comment in the video, I want to or I want to win. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. But you have to watch the video to see what is available in the giveaway contest. I'm currently at like 343-ish. So not too terribly far away from the 400 mark. And once we get there, we'll be doing some giveaways similar to the way I did when I did the 300 subscriber giveaway. So again, appreciate everybody. Hope everybody's staying safe, catching up on some comics, having some good family time, and hopefully everybody will have a great rest of their weekend. And until next time, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.